is okay. We seem to be okay. Carl Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal show. How are you today? This is fantastic. Jacqueline will be joining us from Mortgage Direct at around 9:30. So until then, I'm going to share a few things with you that I think may be of interest, including João Ferreira's distinguished gentleman's road trip that happened at the weekend. Got some fabulous pictures from that. Thank you so much, João, as well as a few other ideas. How about this? Extras wanted in Portugal for the Game of Thrones prequel. How about that? Anyone interested in that? Anyone got a bit of spare time on their hands? I want to be in that production. I've never seen it. I never saw Game of Thrones. Did I miss out? Portugal apparently has made it illegal not to provide vegan meal options. How do you feel about that? Great if you're a vegan. And if you're one of those, and there are a few grumpy, carnivorous types always moan about what vegans are up to. That will probably make their blood boil or their blood sausage boil. Although I wish I hadn't said that now. And also, just very quickly, let me just pop this in the comments, actually. Just to be clear, how do you pronounce Coimbra? And that's exactly how I pronounce it, Coimbra. But you know the doc who joins me on a Wednesday from time to time, he calls it Coimbra, which has always amused me quietly. And I'm not talking behind his back. I have said this to him. But this is something that comes up, all over the it's a social media sphere where I hang out and find out interesting things that people are talking to each other about and asking each other. This is one of them. Just to be clear, how do you pronounce Coimbra? I would say Coimbra. Other phonetic pronunciations are most welcome. Actually, if you think you've got the definitive pronunciation, and I think the word pronunciation should be pronounced pronunciation, by the way, while we're about it. If you think you have the definitive pronunciation of Coimbra, why not send me a recording of you saying it, along with your pictures, to WhatsApp 913-590-303. That's the method that João used to send his wonderful pictures of the distinguished gentleman's tour that happened last Sunday, which we'll have a look at in just a moment. So thank you for all the questions so far about mortgages. Jacqueline will be here at 9:30. We've not spoken before. It's an interesting subject, obviously, and keep bringing those questions in, and I will refer to them when she joins us. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Thunder, for your questions that you popped in early. But this is an increasing trend, which I like, actually. People are asking questions, making a communication with the show before it even starts on YouTube. Yeah, and that is the best place to do it. You can't really do that and be seen if you do it on Facebook. But if you're part of the YouTube crew that tune into the show, I will see your questions before we even open the batting. Okay, so we'll come back to those, Thunder and Mike and everybody else who asked questions. And then there were those rascals who were shouting at each other. Yeah, yes, Andy's back, isn't he? Clearly, you can see that in there. I've got to wade through all these capitalized shouts to each other before I can get to any meaningful content here, everybody. Look, or should I say, everyone? Francis is here. Bondi Alegria. He's one of these people shouting in the comments. Stephen's here as well. Much more civilized this morning. Or maybe he was shouting earlier on and got it out of his system. Mark's here. Good morning, Mark. Jim, hey up, Jim. Thanks for your messages. Looking forward to working with you. And Natalie Gray, bon dia. Okay, we'll come back to that, Natalie. Thank you for that. Paul in Harrogate, a better day at 13 degrees centigrade there. Brilliant. I was on the beach this morning, actually. 6 o'clock start. I was on a red-eye call this morning for the Expats Portugal plan people. 6 o'clock this morning. And at 5:15, I wasn't feeling too great about it. But by the time we've had our call and had a laugh, it's like I've still got most of the day left. I'm up before I would normally be getting up. And decided I'd take the dogs down to the beach this morning. And very fantastic it was. Somebody else who did that is Michelle. Hello again, Michelle. And you sent in pictures of your beach view as well this morning, didn't you? Where are they? Where have they gone? Oh, those are the videos. Here are the pictures. Let me show you. This is the view to Dunk Island that Michelle sent in this morning. Isn't that fantastic? In Australia, of course. Dunk Island sounds so much like an Australian island, doesn't it? Sail over there to Dunk Island. And there's Mission Beach, tropical looking beach. Probably that's Dunk Island again in the view, isn't it? In the far distance there, I think. Isn't that beautiful? Keep those pictures coming in. Always lovely to see them. While we're about it, sent this yesterday from Pippa in Botswana. Look, a honeybee collecting pollen on a sunflower. dusted in yellow pollen dust. Isn't that a beautiful picture? Is that one of those little bee pictures with the bees having a little snooze because it's so tired after collecting all that pollen? And also, can you beat this? At the bottom of Pippa's garden, a hippo with an egret on its back. If you can send me a picture like that from Portugal, I'd be maybe people who live near the zoo could do that. That might be at the bottom of their garden. But what's going on for you? What's at the bottom of your garden wildlife-wise? Do send it in, as you can see on the number there, 913-590-303. Okay, let's do a few more comments before we go to the distinguished gentleman's drive and the lovely pictures. Gary's here as well. Good morning, Gary. How are you, my friend? And you actually, so many mortgage questions, you might have to reiterate those a little bit later on. I've seen Game of Thrones, and it's so cool that they're filming in Portugal. Okay, so we're happy about that. Antonio F., those extras should be from the area of Monsanto where the filming will take place. Okay, so I guess you could go and stay in a Airbnb up there, couldn't you? And say, "Oh, pick me," and be part of it. Oh yes, excellent. So lots of wonderful comments coming in about making it illegal not to have a vegan dish on the menu. I don't know how that might be a sensationalist headline. You know what these media people are like, but we'll come back to that. This is right up my alley, says Francis. Was just looking at a property for fun research. Thunderduck already asked some stuff I wanted to ask. I'll just grab my popcorn and take it all in. That's one way of approaching this show. Absolutely right. Bon dia, blood sausage. Yes. Sarah Taylor amused by that as well. You're right. That's nice to know. Coimbra. How do you pronounce yogurt and garage? Just like that, Francis. What is there any other way? You've got to worry about people who say garage, haven't you? And yogurt. I think there are probably other ways of saying yogurt, aren't there, apart from yogurt? Like somebody, you know, those people who've actually been to the foothills of the first mountain where yogurt was produced, and they go with the traditional indigenous pronunciation of something like yogurt from the Russian steppes or something, where yogurt was first made from yak milk. Yogurt. I would like some yogurt, please. And you're in the supermarket. Sorry? Yogurt. Bring me your finest yogurt. I ate it first of all in the steppes. Okay, sir. Security. Okay, all right. Let's go now to the wonderful pickies of João F's trip. It was to Cascais, wasn't it? So let me see if you're seeing these now. Got to check with these things. No, you're not yet. There you go. A rather misleading background there that I need to change. It's just to cut down on the visual pollution. Sorry, Jerry and Astrid, I don't mean to refer to you as visual pollution, but that's better, isn't it? So, and let's take away the yogurt and garage comment for just a minute as well, because that could be a bit confusing. And we'll also take well, come on, Carl, get a grip. Yes, there we go. The distinguished gentleman's drive, pre-80s classics and elegance. I've got to stop laughing. I've made myself cough now. Pre-80s classics and elegant style united for men's health. Oh, okay. So it's a fundraising, health awareness raising thing, isn't it? Possibly. And actually, that reminds me, we are approaching November, aren't we? So, João, should a few of us here grow moustaches? I know I've got a head start, but I fancy maybe a little bit of a waxed tweak there. So these pictures are from Sunday, the 26th of September, just gone. Inst. Do people still say inst, referring to a date within the month that we're in? It's a gentlemansdrive.com. So that's a great poster, by the way. And perhaps there is a charity point to all of this as well. And I'm going to go backwards in these photos. I hope that's going to be okay for you, João. But look, here are actually, no, I don't think I am going to do that. Let me just step through. Yes, because there's probably a sequence to these, isn't there? As you can see at the bottom of the, you can see what other things that João might have been sending me as well. Careful now. But look, what have we got there? We've got an Alfa Romeo. Well, that was lucky to get there, wasn't it? With my initials on it. It's not my car. That's a Morgan there, isn't it? And an MG. Fabulous. This looking very good. And they assembled at the Museum of Coaches in Lisbon and then drove out in a motorcade to Cascais, if I remember correctly. That looks like Cascais to me. João will, of course, put me right if I'm not in the comments there. So we're going to step through these now. Let me just make sure we're all good with that. And Joao hasn't said, no, Carl, it's not Qashqai. Anyway, I think we're good. Let's go and have a look at these pictures now then. So there we go. Yes, that's got to be Qashqai, isn't it? I don't know if that's a classic up front there, but it could be an old Merc. I had one of those myself, a 190, which I loved. Beetles, Citroens. Don't know what that powder blue car is, but what a lovely color it is. Yeah, there's the Beetle again. In what color is that? Is that called a? Is it? But it's not beige, is it? What is the official color of that sort of grey beige color that you will see on a Beetle from time to time? Aston Martin, I think I just saw there, but a great old Merc there. That's an E-Type Jag, is it not? Very beautiful. I'm is that a Bristol possibly there as well? My goodness, these are fantastic cars, aren't they? Really beautiful. What a fantastic event that you were part of there, Joao. And I suspect you enjoyed driving along the coast there with the wind in your hair. Isn't that beautiful? Please shout out if you know what these are, because a lot of them I don't know. But I know a lot of you classic car fans will be absolutely loving this. A Triumph. I know that because I'm reading the letters on the front there. I would not have known that's a Triumph. That's a friendly-looking car with nice eyes, though, isn't it? Hold on a minute. I'm clicking the wrong place, and look what happens. So let's step through these and get back to where we were. Yes, almost want to sing a Barbra Streisand song now. Scattered pictures. And look, there's a lovely rear view of another car I don't recognize. But the whole road, no, that's not a petrol station queue in the United Kingdom. That is the beautiful Distinguished Gentleman's Drive from last Sunday. Isn't that fantastic? Look, a mixture of ancient vehicles, Porsche there, and a nice little Fiat. What's that on the far right there? That's a beautiful looking vehicle. And some modern graffiti with some modern architecture there. I know which I prefer. What about you? Is that a Japanese classic there, I wonder? This is fantastic. And what a beautiful old Mercedes, and what a lovely color that is. Would you call that maroon, I wonder? And he's taking a picture as well. He's taking a picture of you, Joao, while you're taking a picture of him there, I think. Drive tastefully. What an excellent reminder. And it is funny, isn't it, how all cars pretty much look the same now and are often either in silver or black. And they all look very similar. These cars look very different, I think. And they have a real sense of style about them, which is perhaps missing in the modern age. Unless, of course, dare I say it, you get yourself a Tesla and stand out a little bit. Stand by from incoming message from Paul Richards. That's an interesting, what's that, a Mini Moke or a fun vehicle there. The Morgan, yeah, absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for these, Joao. I really appreciate it. Lotus possibly there, I think. Under the lighthouse there, and a Mini Cooper. Fantastic. And there, the Beetle again, the Herbie, the Love Bug. And that's great, isn't it? What a nice touch. The gentleman's, what is that? It's a leather suitcase full of cravats, possibly, isn't it? And pipes ready for the weekend. And a nice view of Qashqai there. Again, superb. Joao, you have done us proud there, my friend. Thank you very much for those. We gratefully receive pictures of all kinds, nature, of sunsets and sunrises and special things like that. So what I missed there was a Porsche 356 to the right of the red Porsche. The photos are in reverse order. Qashqai Turlish Bar. Okay, thank you very much. Wow, thank you again for these lovely photos. And a Manx dune buggy. Is that as in Isle of Man? I wonder. So a dune buggy. The classic car lovers speaking up. Carl, stick to broadcasting. Cars are not your forte. Yes, he's right. I can't I can't deny it. The blue one is an MGA, says Joao Ferreira. MGA. I think Paul probably knew every one of those cars. Am I right, Paul? An MGB. How do you pronounce Worcestershire? I can't say it when I say it like that, but that's like Worcestershire. Yes, and that is a tricky one for some of our viewers and listeners. Worcestershire and the great Worcestershire sauce, of course. It's hard to say that wrong. Worcestershire possibly is how some people might go about it. Okay, thanks a lot. Let's move on then from the vehicles. We are in anticipation of Jacqueline MOULEN joining us from Mortgage Direct this morning, and looking forward to talking to her and finding out about more mortgages. I'm going to have a little sip of my water this morning. Sorry for slurping there. Does vary. What's your water quality like in your part of Portugal? I notice, it can be quite chlorinated, and that often happens near the sea as well. Maybe it's is it desalinated water possibly that's had chlorine added? I prefer to drink from the fonts and wells myself, and that has been filtered here at home. I know you don't need to do that, and that's a little bit precious of me to do so, but I do like to take the chlorine out of it, and all the other things that Mrs. M thinks are in there. Okay, Dominique Core is here this morning. Good morning, all from Dominique. Good morning to you, Dominique. And the very beginning of the intro, scanning the radio dial, always reminds me of Pink Floyd. Yeah, it's a nice sonic device, isn't it, that has popped up from time to time in many a recording. Do like that. Great job there from our man in the unofficial ambassador of Castanheira de Pera. And looking forward, yes, Gary is looking forward to the mortgage info that's coming up. I've never seen it either. What's he talking about? I know it's blood sausage, maybe. And let's scroll forward. Yes, vegan comments. Okay, let's do that now then. Back to the 70s nut loaf for the veggies. Not just veggies, vegans, Stephen Wells, I'll have you know. Let's bring that story up onto the screen very quickly before we're joined by Michelle. And this idea, Portugal has made it illegal not to provide vegan meal options. Does it need to be a law, I wonder? That to me sounds a little bit excessive, possibly. I don't know. Let's find out more. Before we leap to judgment, as people can so easily do in the day and age that we live in, right? So let's have a little read through this and see what's being said here in Munch. That's a bit of a giveaway, isn't it, as to how this story has been pitched, I think. So this is by Danielle Kirk of Munch, and I don't know what these publications are. It's Kontiki.com and 6.2. Oh, Munch must just be a section of the magazine. If you're a traveling vegan, you know how hard it can be to find vegan food restaurants and meals that don't involve animal products and aren't a bowl of fries. Yes, fair comment, right? As any vegan will know. Besides the language barrier in some countries, it's a simple fact that many restaurants and cafes don't offer vegan options. It's not so bad, is it, in Portugal? I mean, I often start out talking to vegetarians and vegans sort of apologetically, but many vegetarians and vegans are quite happy in Portugal, I think. It could be better, obviously, but generally speaking, nice, fresh produce, usually something on the menu, and very friendly, flexible people in cafes who will try and help you. All part of the Portuguese spirit and sense of hospitality that we know and love. So he says, with the growing trends towards vegetarianism and veganism, or just flexitarianism. Now, those flexitarianists are just opportunists, aren't they? They sort of eat anything to suit, but still want to virtue signal just a little bit, right? It's about time and I include myself in there. It's about time veggie-friendly options became more widespread. And do you know what? I've been aware of these issues for probably 30 years now, and people have been saying that in all that time. It's about time veggie-friendly options became more widespread. Yes. Some of us are old enough to remember reading the very same sentence pretty much in the 1980s. Probably people here who've used to read that in the 70s. The first country to get ahead of the curve. Here we go, folks. And make sure everyone is catered for. Why? That'll be Portugal. Portugal was officially the first country who made it illegal not to offer a vegan menu option. The law was passed in 2017. This is old news, and it applies to public buildings such as schools, universities, hospitals, and prisons right now. Wow. As everywhere else, people have the choice to go elsewhere to find a suitable meal. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? So does it only apply there? And they're trying to extend it, maybe. The landmark law came after the Portuguese Vegetarian Society successfully passed a petition with 15,000 signatures. That means all state-owned facilities, think prisons, school canteens, and hospitals, require by law to cater for vegetarians and vegans. A spokesperson for the society, Nuno Alvim, says they're proud to be contributing to public health. It will promote diversity of eating habits and encourage more people to choose the veggie option as it becomes more widely available. Now, I'm not one to just be a sort of whinger, reactionary sort with these things, but it's not necessarily the case, is it, that because you eat vegan or vegetarian, that is a contribution to public health, or it is a healthy choice? I mean, some of those things that I understand people want to eat from an ideological point of view, that are highly processed, don't look very healthy to me. They look like some serious Frankenstein food, albeit they don't have, they are kinds of animals and they don't have animals in them. But God knows what else they've got in there after they've been in the lab. But a good story, I think. Let's see what you're saying about this in the comments. Just finished my professional resume and about to start researching for remote opportunities to take another step closer. Well, Francis, funny you should say that. Hold on a minute. I've just been distracted by this. You talking to me, Thunder? Dom Carlos De Niro this morning. That's the look, is it? Just finished my professional resume. So, Francis, you're looking for work over here in Portugal. I want to, or I'm in the process of creating a LinkedIn group for our network of people. And, we need to have this in the forum on the expatsportugal.com/community forum, don't we? Where people can share what they do, what they're about, what sort of work they're looking for. So we need our own sort of LinkedIn subset, LinkedIn style thing before I get myself into any legal trouble over there on the forum. Why not post up what you're looking for, or look to create a thread that invites all and sundry to do so, and let's help each other with that. Project Frugal here. Hola. A parte Novo Zelandia, amigos. Novo Zelandia. That's a great Portuguese way, obviously, of saying, or the Portuguese way of saying New Zealand. So hello from New Zealand, friends from Vinny Vengeance over there, Project Frugal over there in NZ. 12 degrees here in Dublin, says Mac Joe. 4 days to landing in Portugal. An excellent countdown. One of these for you. And Project Frugal in Portuguese, it's Novo Zelandia. So close, but no cigar, no Antipodean cigar. So Nova Zelandia. Thank you very much for that correction, Antonio. Is it illegal for vegan restaurants not to have a meat option? Oh, there you go. That's the sort of thing. Nicely done, Stephen. And this is the problem, isn't it, of the ideological political battle. There's always another side to things like that, as you very eloquently put it there, Stephen. I had a Portuguese, in inverted commas, burger tonight made by my stepdaughter. My wife said it was a sign. So a Portuguese burger, do I take that to mean it had an egg on it and cheese and bacon, and was in a rather nice sort of pão d'avo bread roll, possibly? Tell us more, Vinny. Why was it in Portuguese? Why was it Portuguese? Your particular burger there. You got the South African pronunciations right there. What? Yogurt and garage. Okay. Well, I'm glad I passed that test. I'm waiting though for a backlash. Obviously, garage is the right way of saying it. I was in Monsanto yesterday, funnily enough, and just thinking it would make a great film set. Okay, so let's do that now, shall we? The extras wanted in Portugal for Game of Thrones. And yes, a lot of love for Monsanto in this community, right? Going back to vegans for just a minute there before we go to Game of Thrones, GOT. They want to make it illegal for all restaurants not to a vegan dish. I'm vegan, and that's just ridiculous. Yeah, I think the main thrust of that story, I think, Thunder, was to make it possible where there wasn't a choice. So, if you're in prison, you can't really just pop out, can you, and get something to suit your dietary requirements. Although some might say life should be tougher in prison than being able to get your vegan dish that you require. Not me, but some might say that. Yes, school. Like kids at school, they can't. Actually, a lot of them do pop out. I see Portuguese kids having a very civilized lunch, I have to say. But okay, you're in hospital and you can't get a meal to suit your dietary requirements. Quite good there, I think, isn't it? To if people won't do it, I guess the law backing you up might help a little bit. But in large part, I do agree with you. Why would you? And that's where I was going earlier on with this, right? Why would you need a law? Why can't we just be reasonable about this and other things? Yeah, America. Okay, so extras wanted for Game of Thrones prequel. So this is the way to extend a franchise, isn't it? And get the most out of it is go back to the beginning, as well as the sequels, prequels, of course. Now the thing to do to extend the franchise and make a whole lot more money. So let me share this story with you on the screen right now on this Consumer Tuesday here on the Good Morning Portugal show with me, Carl Munson. Great to have your company today. Which news outlet is this? It is the Portugal News. Very straightforward. Okay, so let's bring it onto the screen for you. The Portugal News. I think they've had a bit of a remake on their on the way they're doing their website here. Extras wanted, as we now know, filming of The House of the Dragon, which is the prequel to Game of Thrones, is due to take place in Portugal between the 26th and the 31st of October. Wow. pretty soon then at the Monsanto Castle. That does look like a fantastic backdrop, doesn't it? You're absolutely right, Louise. As the production prepares to begin filming, they are calling for extras to appear in the scenes filmed in Portugal. The team are looking for men and women between the ages of 18 and 70, and those interested are asked to live locally in the area and will be willing to let their facial hair grow. Is that the women as well? I wonder, that might be quite a relief, right? According to Jornal de Fundão, extra putting the fun in Fundão, extras must be available, thank you, Pete Bleach, for long periods of filming, either day or night, and those selected, yes, I used to be a film extra, it's not for the faint-hearted. Many hours of sitting around doing nothing, and then your moment comes, and it could be, hours into just sitting around, just to do a couple of minutes, and then you sit around for a few more hours, and then you're not needed anymore, and then you go home. But you do get, well, you used to get well paid. I don't know if you do anymore. Either day or night, and those selected will undergo a wardrobe test days before the start of filming. What are the wardrobe? What's the wardrobe like a Game of Thrones? Pretty elaborate, I suspect. Which will focus on the castle of Monsanto. Okay, so that's a brief story there. And the comments are coming in on Portugal News. My wife is willing to give her moustache free reign, says Cheeky Ian in Lisbon. And do you have a contact link for the production team or a name of the company? Yes, that would be quite frustrating if you want to be in. I'm often more interested in the comments than I am in the news story. And this looks like one of them. My Labrador Lex could easily pass as Rex the Wolfhound if provided with a shaggy coat and false fangs. Payment in bone coin could be made to Dogs of Portugal. Very good. I am a 29-year-old Nepalese guy currently living in Montegorda, Algarve. Am I able to apply for this? Well, why not? I wonder. So there you go. That is the news that the extras are wanted for in Portugal for the Game of Thrones prequel. I'd love to see one of you in that, and just to get the photos. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? So is anyone here interested in doing that? I wonder. Let's go back to your comments this morning, this Tuesday morning. How is the world where you are? Do let me know that in the comments. How are you? And how's your part of the world this morning? Do let me know in the comments. Thunder, yes, that's ridiculous. Most restaurants will already make a vegan dish if asked. I had you in mind, actually, Thunder, from my recollections of eating together. You have a pretty favourable view, don't you, of being a vegetarian person in Portugal? I'm mostly vegan, you say, yeah. And I remember having a conversation with you where you said, you didn't think it was a big deal, and it's actually quite good in Portugal. Bernard Gavin Lynch is here. Question for today on mortgages. Okay, we'll come back to that. Thank you for that, Bernard. Caldas Shiranya crowd wisdom request. What is the best way to find out what music, arts, film, and cultural events are on in the area? Do you know the only place where I'm sure there are, I'm not complaining, but where I've noticed there's always some information about what's going on is on a billboard. One of those, not the great big billboards, but the smaller ones in the street opposite the La Vie shopping centre. But between the La Vie shopping centre and the Dom Carlos Park, there's a billboard there, which seems to have all the upcoming concerts and so on, and artistic and cultural events happening. You would hope for a way online to find that out, so you don't have to drive and look at a billboard. I know that, Kate, but that's my best yet. Anyone else here? Jacqueline Branco might be here, or Jacqueline CDM might be here, and be very able to answer that question. We have lots of comments coming in about cars. 99%. Carl had most. Oh, I'm glad I got a fairly good figure there. Nice lighting today, Carl. Thank you very much, Gary. Mwah. I'm so worth it. Porsche, says Maxine, trying to help me at that particular time. Morning, Carl, from an autumnal Skipton. Is it Carl or Carl? Look on the screen for you now. There you go, Carl on the Silver Coast. James, Carl with a C. Yes, my parents wanted the Scandinavian rather than the German spelling of that. For their own reasons. Nice to see these cars in better condition than when I was young, says Colin. They're well loved, aren't they? Paul Williams, hola bon dia from an autumnal Peñascoso from Paul. How are you doing, Paul and Lita there? It got a pic for us. Autumnal Peñascoso sounds really nice. Oh, and thank you. Pal Carlos sent a picture from an autumnal summer. I'm not going to show it yet because I can't remember where he lives, but he sent me a lovely video of his part of the world that was very autumnal right now. A little vid, which was really nice. I'm trying to find out. Yeah, Carlos Lima sent me that pic, also that video. So do let me know where that is before I share it with everybody. Portugal is far better than Texas for vegans. Well, you see, I would have thought in any American restaurant or town, you'd always be able to find a vegan specialty restaurant. And I'm surprised to hear that, but also glad to hear that, Thunder. That makes sense when they're a captive audience, okay, like prisons, schools, and hospitals. And that's what happened there. That story was about that law, and it made it sound like all restaurants are subject to that law, which I don't think is the case, right? And there's always an angle, isn't there? When Georgia was in hospital for a month, she was fed plain boiled rice and chips and dry bread roll for every meal. She is not vegan, but struggles with the texture of large chunks of meat. So was told to tick that she was vegetarian and got that. Boiled rice, chips. And I mean, that sounds like a prison meal to me, doesn't it? Boiled rice, chips, and a dry bread roll for every meal. I think maybe they hadn't heard about that law. Gary, okay, Jacqueline, that's another one for Jacqueline there. Okay, we'll come back to that. It was a chicken burger. She got a Hello Fresh. What's that? Is that a brand type thing on the menu? Very tasty. Don't know about the egg. Everything has to have an egg. That it may also be a Portuguese law that most meals must have a fried egg with them, right? I was vegan for 2.5 years. Not all vegans are created equal, says Francis. I only changed back because I had a vitamin B12 shortage and was treading a dangerous line due to the shortage. Yes, you see, I think this, without wanting to get myself in too much trouble with vegans, is that ideology can never really beat physiology. You know, if your body needs it, your body needs it, and no amount of ethical thinking is going to overcome that, is it? It was okay, but became too complicated, says Francis. I had a very similar conversation with Mrs. M yesterday. Jerry's here. Our website is down. Reason unknown, but IT people are working on it now. So I'm not going to send anybody to the forum right now, as you know I always do, Sherry. That is a concern, and we're working on it, okay? And we've got the finest brains in the business looking at that right now. So the expatsportugal.com website is down. Sorry for any inconvenience. Stay right here, folks. Thunder, I've had B12 issues as well. Now I take a supplement. Very good. Joao F, I'm all for a LinkedIn project regarding professional jobs and issues. There might even be a room for a professional co-work between expats and Portuguese nationals. Okay, some of that for you. I think, Joao, there are a few idea hairs coursing. This is an elaborate metaphor. Okay, there's a few ideas around that are really excellent ideas, like the solos in their living room. But this is also a very excellent idea and one we should pursue. I'm sure Jerry will agree with me on this. So I think a little bit of a reach out on LinkedIn, but also bring it close to home on our forum as well. This is a really good idea, Joao. Thank you very much indeed. I am interested in an attorney to do my D2 visa processing for me. If you want an attorney, I mean, Daniel, we know and love and work with Daniel Ashwin, but the D2, Gilda can handle that. Go to our business directory, but not right now. Oh, sure, you can cheer the website up again, Gary. I see what you did there, Peter. What I love about vegans is how they never like to talk about it. Cheeky. I already have my Game of Thrones application off. I'm going for an orc, and Di is a dragon. Is that in relation to Game of Thrones, or are you just making a comment? I think that's rude and unfair, Peter Bleach. Pippa Young, good morning. Like the LinkedIn job idea or classified job board section for employees and employers to post on the GMP site. Absolutely right, Pippa Young. Let's do that. Yes, Jerry, we'll be right on that. Please contact me on Messenger, says Ashwin. Well, probably easier to do, Ashwin, is to send me an email, carl@expatsportugal.com. You know what? I'm going to do that for you right now. I'm going to put that on the screen. I'm going to do that so you can see exactly what you need to do, because I'm right in the middle of a broadcast now, and it might be a little bit... Oh, which buttons do I need to press to get an at on a Portuguese keyboard? Yeah! I think it's Control Shift 2. It's not Control Alt 2. Yes, Carl Expats Portugal. Ashwin, this is especially for you. .com. Can't say fairer than that, can we? There you go. If I take your comment off the screen, you will see my email address. Drop me a line and I'll put you in touch with the people you need to be put in touch with. Gary, we intend to provide online photography classes, as I do now, photography, holidays, and offer B&B as well. And I'm in discussion with a large real estate company to provide drone 360 tours and floor plans as my income. You know what? On Tuesdays, we used to do the Cockerel's Coop, which is our sort of effort or our little nod in the direction of the Dragon's Den. We should do that again. So people who want to talk about their businesses, come on and do that on a Tuesday, which Gary is already doing there. Nice bit of networking, pal. When is the mortgage talk going to start? All right, Charmander's bestie. I did say around 9:30, but she's a bit late or can't find me. I'm just going to fire up my email and make sure that she knows exactly what she's doing and isn't stuck somewhere. So as far as I'm aware, she is on her way to join me on the show this morning. Just checked out, all working. Yes. So there we go. I think we're going to be fine. I think she's going to be joining us any minute. Well, we certainly hope so, right? And I can't see a message to say otherwise. All right. So Charmander's bestie. A nice little Pokemon reference there. Any minute now, the answer to your question. Pippa Young, I agree. Is that about, about the job networking? Fantastic. The costumes are either very elaborate or rags if you're just a peasant. Just like life, really, then. Project Frugal. I was a Rahan soldier in the third Lord of the Rings movie. It was 150 New Zealand dollars for the day and all-you-can-eat buffet. Is that the New Zealand word for grub? Jibber. I wonder. Pete, yes, we got that, Pete. The website is down, but maybe after a little shopping trip and some retail therapy, it'll be fine again. Think I could do the Game of Thrones extra thing as one of the wild forest dwellers in the mysterious central region. Scary stuff, I think. Yeah. Where are we? I'm vegan for health and allergy reasons, says Thunder. And at Thunder, I'm a carnivore and growing massive turkeys and our friends' beautiful goat curries and amazing livestock reasons. Okay, Pete. Lexi444 just jumped on. Sorry if it's already been covered, but do we need to buy outright to qualify for the citizenship by investment, or we can have a mortgage? Okay, that's a question for Jacqueline. If she turns up, it's a nail biter, isn't it? Because I thought she was joining me at 9:30, but no sign of her yet. Thunder Duck ditto. I don't eat meat for health reasons, says Jackie Polly. Good morning, Jackie. Talking of films and film stars. Get on with it then. I can't get on with it if I haven't got a guest to get on with it then with. Can I? Quinta de Flores Silvestres. Calm down. This is Portugal, guys. Take it easy. Just take a ticket. Sit down and take it easy. All right, be Portuguese about this. Fish is always a good alternative to meat, says Maxine. There are also protein-rich yogurt with 20 grams of protein in every pot, which costs 65. That's really specialist information. And some people will be very glad of that. I don't work there. Okay, well, that's good to know as well. Thank you, Maxine, about that. It's a bit of dietary advice this morning. Something to do with a global-wide update to Plesk. Oh, of course. The spanners and hammers are out and hopefully fixed soon. That's Expats Portugal. I can't go there and put it on the screen and share it as a bit of content until our guest comes. All good, Peter Bleach. I support all diets. Just mention that because I'm not vegan for ethical reasons. To each their own. Well said, Thunder. Please don't put me in a box. Not yet, anyway. I'm not vegetarian or vegan. I just can't eat meat. And you're never far from a bit of a tear up, are you? When the word vegan is mentioned, there's threesomes of it here this morning. Listen, look at that. Any chance of a bit of weather outlook? That's a great idea. It's that time of year where we're starting to care about the weather. So I wonder if I can. It's been so long, Gary, since we did that. I wonder if I type this in, if it will come up. No, it won't. I'm on a different computer. I don't know where. If somebody sends me a link on WhatsApp to a good Portuguese weather app, I'll stick it on the screen and I'll read it out. We have texts coming in via WhatsApp. Our number was just called, mate. I can't have pocket dialed somebody, can I? Because I've been here with you. Got a good alibi. Carl, are you around for a quick? Oh no, Don't be left out, Carl. Wow, that's pretty special. Me at the bottom of my garden. I've got to download and share that with you. Thank you very much for that, Paul Richards. And oh yeah, we've got a Cape Town car and a sunrise shot for today. So we like to get the sunrises in at the beginning of the show. So we will do that in just a moment. Thank you very much for that, Francis. Another couple of astounding pictures there. Thank you very much for those. Thanks for everything via WhatsApp this morning, folks. Yeah, weather. We did have something. I honestly can't remember where that is. I have got a weather page, a live one, and I used to call it up and share it on the screen, didn't I, months ago? And the weather's just so great in the spring and summer here. We don't even bother. It just gets boring, doesn't it, to say the weather's great? But getting to autumn, and it's time to look at the weather again. So if anyone can, it's hard to cut and paste comments. So via WhatsApp would be good. If you've got a Portuguese weather app that you want me to take a look at, I will do that. Okay. Nothing wrong with vegan food as long as it's accompanied by steak or fish. Be Portuguese about it, guys. There you go. Absolutely. Lexi444. It's a great catch-all phrase that actually does the job on many occasions. Be Portuguese about it. This message was to add to my question to Jacqueline to explain my income for the mortgage. Okay, I'm so relieved to say she is here now. And she's laughing in the green room. Jacqueline, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, Carly. How are you? Sorry about the delay.
Don't you worry. You are in high demand. I've had people almost shouting at me. Get on with it was one of them.
Sorry, Carl.
It's okay, don't worry. It's really fine. I will come back to the other one, but she's here now, everybody. We can breathe out, take it easy. Lovely to meet you, Jacqueline. How are you today?
Likewise. Yes, sorry, just extremely inundated with calls and meetings going back and forth. And I thought it got a little bit less hectic, but yeah. That's only for half a morning, and then everything is crazy again.
When you
Everyone wants to die in Portugal. They
do. And when you come back here again, I'm going to get you on just before the show starts, so I don't have to put myself through that again. With the calm exterior, like a swan on top, but with the legs paddling furiously underneath.
Oh, sorry about that, Carl.
Don't you worry.
Make it up to you.
It's absolutely fine. Tell us a little bit about you and your company, if you will, before we get into those questions.
Yeah, sure. So the company is Mortgage Direct, and we started about 16 years already in Spain. And we were, well, not me, but that was Kevin and Catherine, the founders. They're also from the UK. And there was just a natural something that happened because there was a demand for people who couldn't really turn to anyone with mortgage questions, who were from abroad, and you have the language barrier and all these things in the middle. And I joined them about 6 years ago. I speak Portuguese. So then, as we already had a bunch of organizations, platforms that we work with, they were asking, like, why don't you add Portugal to the equation? Well, and then I came, the Portuguese speaker, Brazilian Portuguese, but nonetheless. And we could enter that market. And that's kind of how it all came about, that we're doing mortgages in Portugal as well.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So Portugal and Spain. Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Mike has a question here. Then, if we get straight into it, Mike and Maggie, logging in reference or remortgages, are customers with passive income from capital investments eligible for a mortgage in Portugal? I'm guessing that's quite a common question.
It's not so common. So in general, the income questions, that's definitely a common one. But this is quite a specific income question, meaning capital investments. Right. You could be eligible for a mortgage, but this is quite detailed. So I would really have to speak with you, Mike and Maggie, in person to be able to see, because the income is definitely a factor. It depends what kind of investments they are. It depends on what other source of income that might be. So if it would be only passive income from capital investments, the bank's take on it is that is something that you can easily sell again. So how guaranteed is your income stream? Okay. So, but then again, let's have a look at it, and let's really talk about your personal situation and see what we can do.
Perfect. Okay. All right. And then we should say at this point, shouldn't we, that we're not giving it financial advice this morning. We are talking in principle and in theory about things here, but I think it can be illuminating and indicative and educational to take a look at some of these questions. But yeah, these are in principle answers. I'd like to know about the age limit on mortgages. This is one that comes up. I've heard this before. I've heard that a mortgage can't extend past 75 years of age for the oldest borrower. What do you say about age limits on mortgages here?
Well, Thunderduck, you're right. It's true. There's maybe one bank that says years of 80, but they're not my most favorite bank to go to due to other reasons in terms of offer. But there's a little bit of a caveat because I recently did do a mortgage I had a couple. One of the applicants was older or was approaching 75, but the partner was substantially younger, as in maybe she was in her mid-60s, I think. And then we could still get a good mortgage term while the partner, in case of death, not so positive subject, but in case of death, the income of the pension would transfer to the other partner, and then we could base the mortgage on the younger applicant of the two. So we've had solutions for that, which if you don't know which bank to speak to, they will turn you down immediately. Yeah.
We're loving this, Jacqueline, already. Solution focus, because I think people's experience of some of these situations is, that computer says no thing. And clearly you're a little bit creative and prepared to do a little bit of extra work to find the right deal for people. We like the sound of that. Thunderduck is continuing. I've also heard that banks require life insurance for the borrower. Is this true? If so, what sort of premium can be expected? Thank you, Thunder.
Okay. This can, it depends again on your profile and if you're resident or non-resident and if you're earning your income in Portugal. But we do have banks that don't require life cover, and expect for most of the clients that I can get offers with no life cover. So premium, again, that's a very specific question. It depends on the property price, age, again, health, past, etc., etc. So that's a bit too specific to give you good indication, but we have a lot of options where you don't need a life cover, or you could source it if you really want it. You could source it on your own, or we can indicate someone who's good in insurances, and you can get a better deal.
Or speak to our very own Nuno Mendes at Winsurance, who might be able to help with that. I'm sure he can. And also, don't forget to mention that you're a vegan, Thunder, because that might help with your premiums.
I'm sure you get the best premium then. You get extra points.
The vegan premium.
They pay you to take the mortgage.
Now who's laughing, Pete Bleach? So Thunder's got a lot of questions this morning, and we're very glad of them. Are interest rates fixed, or do they vary between lenders? He's asking.
Yeah, the lenders do have different interest rates. They're all quite competitive, I must say. And you can choose between a fixed rate or a variable rate. And in between the lenders, there's lots of options for sure.
Okay, all right. So is it fair to say then that it's quite a dynamic and competitive market at the moment? They want to lend.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
They're really bombarding us with, please send us more clients.
That's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a lovely problem to have. Okay, fantastic. How much is it?
Buyers and we have banks. We bring them together.
Yeah, fantastic. How much is a typical application fee? How do you guys work?
Okay, so we have two routes. We basically don't charge any fees for mediating on the mortgage itself. So we can do a first check on your profile. That's of course for free in any case. And then we can introduce you to a bank and you can lead with them directly. And of course, we'll be there for any questions to address. And we have a bit more of an extensive service where we say, well, when you get an offer back from the bank, for example, that's going to be in Portuguese and we can translate it back for you because they don't have it in English. So what we charge fees for is just for the additional services, which means leading with everyone in the purchase process, indicating how to get a NIF number, which is mandatory if you want to buy in Portugal. So anything additionally outside of the mortgage itself, we would charge a fee, and that is 1,500 plus VAT. So that is the only fee we would charge, split in two. But it's up to the client if you want to use the extensive hand-holding service, where we're going to do more of that legwork and all the additional stuff that come around the mortgage.
Okay, so did you call it extended hand holding?
Yeah, like
it was
through the camera or through the phone, but yeah.
What sort of service is that then? Can you tell us more?
Well, the translating, leading with everyone else who's involved in the transaction, because you imagine there's lawyers usually there or not, or we can recommend you someone if you haven't found someone yet. Also still dealing with the bank, of course, we would always deal with the bank. but also dealing with that NIF number I just mentioned, getting that set up, because people tend to forget that maybe at early stages, and we make sure that that's in place, or we can indicate you someone, and really translating back as well, because many people, they get this financial document in front of them and it's all in Portuguese. So if you are not, fluent in the language yet, or not so comfortable, and we notice that many people, even if it's your own language, it's quite a thick financial document to get through. So it would feel comfortable if you can at least read it in your own language, because it gives a bit more of a tools. And I'm, I speak English a little bit, and Portuguese a little bit, and Dutch too. So even people
really?
from, yeah, naturally, I'm born in the Netherlands. So and we have, within the team, we have a French speaker as well, another Dutch speaker, Portuguese speaker. We all speak Portuguese, we all speak English, and we also, some of us speak Dutch, some French. So we do have quite some languages to cover between us to help people, navigate through that.
Perfect. I wonder how many people, I know you're meant to, but how many people actually read through their whole mortgage document?
I think
But you don't have to answer that.
That's why they hire us. They want us to give them the comfort that, does this make sense? Please explain it to me. I think most people don't, because most people get it really I not had that before. Before I was in business and before I worked in finance and insurances, I wouldn't read these documents either, personally. That's I don't know. But I think most people find it just legally too complicated. But there's people who do really read through it. But I think most people find it just too much. Yeah.
You glaze over after the third paragraph of the legalese that you generally, not you, I mean, people normally do. And yeah, that's why you need good backup, folks. That's why you need to work with professionals. And don't worry, Jacqueline, we coach people here to get their NIFs early on.
Okay.
So these are NIF-friendly people, I would say, or NIF-ready. Natalie, great. Bon dia. What is the expected down payment percentage? Okay, so that's a good, an often asked question, isn't it? So how is that in Portugal?
Okay, well, bon dia, Natalie. It depends, again, if you're resident, non-resident. I'm just going with the scenario that most of you are not, who's listening, are already residing in Portugal or haven't paid your taxes in Portugal in the past. So it would be 70% how much you would need to bring from your own funds just for buying the property. So 30% you need from your own stack of money. And also keep in mind you have fees and taxes which are not covered in the mortgage, so that's another somewhere between 7 to 10%, depending a little bit on the price category that you're paying. So if you take 40% as a rule of thumb, you would always have enough to cover what you need in order to have a successful sale with a mortgage.
Interesting. Now, did you say that's for people who aren't here yet?
Yeah, so if you would already have a tax declaration in Portugal, it changes. But then again, I would really have to look into the situation, because some people go like, well, I'm a resident in Portugal, so that makes me eligible for the 80%. That would be the difference, 10% more. But it doesn't always work. So what the bank sees as a resident is not the same as what we classify as on paper you're the resident, because they really look at what is still your income stream, where is it coming from, where are you declaring it, are you paying Social Security here or not? That kind of things really make the difference from the bank's point of view.
Interesting. Okay, so but both scenarios are good, because a lot of people who tune in are already residents and have paid tax here. So we've covered both scenarios there, which is great. Bernard, Gavin Lynch, we've come back to you as promised, Bernard, or Gavin probably. A question for today on mortgages: if I own a property 100%, is it possible to get a second mortgage loan with the property as security? So remortgaging, do you do that?
It's not very common. I'm not saying there are situations where it's possible, but it's not something that banks are very keen on jumping on that idea. It depends what the purpose is of the remortgage. And for example, refurbishment would be a very justifiable reason. But then again, if in this case of Gavin, Bernard Gavin Lynch, if you already own it 100%, that would be a scenario where it would be possible to get a remortgage in place. Yeah, but it would have a specific purpose, and you would need some licenses too. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that, Jacqueline. Okay, this is a complicated one. Let's work our way through this. It looks complicated. This looks like one of those contracts we were talking about. Presently looking at a property in Castanheira de Pera with a property value at 110,000 euros. Paying 10% for the deposit now, with a further 10% on signing of the property deeds. This leaves us with 90,000 left to pay. We're looking for a mortgage of around 90,000. We're not married, but have lived together for over 3 years, and Stephanie will be the main mortgage purchaser. We have a property here in the UK worth over $250,000 with 28k left on the mortgage. So there's some good equity around, but they're probably looking for a mortgage. It's a bit too big in relation to what you were saying earlier on, by the sound of it.
Yeah, that's the first take I get from here, is that there's a bit missing. So, but again, I think me and Gary need to have a chat on the phone later on and see if I'm having a good read on the whole situation, because there's a bit more to this. So I would say that I'm thinking you're about 20% missing, which as you said, the 10%, the 30% deposit. But then again, maybe Gary and Stephanie, have been already paying property taxes, and we would have to speak and see what we could do.
All right, but
sometimes we find solutions too.
From my layperson's perspective, that's looking pretty favourable, I would have said, with all that equity floating around there. Charman, this is one of our critics earlier on, Jacqueline. When is the mortgage going to start? It started, Charmander. Have you asked the question yet?
Sorry, Charmander, to keep you waiting. That's not my intention.
Not a problem at all. Hold on a minute here. Lexi444 just jumped on. Sorry if it's already been covered, but do we need to buy outright to qualify for the citizenship by investment, or can we have a mortgage? So this is we're talking about golden visa here, aren't we?
Yeah, I think that's what it sounds like. I'm currently actually helping someone now who is applying for the golden visa and still doing a mortgage. But keep in mind that you would have to still satisfy the rules and restrictions, the rules set up by the golden visa. I'm not a lawyer, so let that be straight. But you would then have to think about putting, I think it's about $500,000 down for the golden visa requirement, and then you could, let's say the property be 70/50, which is the case I'm currently doing. That could be an option. So if you want to buy more for what the golden visa sets out, that part could be mortgaged, but you have to have the own liquid investment in towards the property to qualify for a golden visa. But then again,
you've got to absolutely. You've got to satisfy the baseline requirements. And of course, we did a fantastic webinar with Daniel a couple of weeks ago, because things are changing. Next year, of course, you can't buy in the traditional areas where the golden visa has been very popular. Okay, so check out that webinar on our YouTube channel. I'm just catching up. Bear with me, Jacqueline, because we're just catching up on the many comments here, because we were talking about Game of Thrones. That's going to be the prequel is going to be filmed in Monsanto. Apparently, we're talking about veganism as well this morning. So let's see what people are saying. Mrs. M's even was willing to step in earlier on. Why are you talking about diet? Are you missing a guest? Need some company? No, it's all sorted out now, Mrs. M. But thank you. I completely understand, and like our friend Farmer for Fun, we try not to eat any factory farmed meat. I think that's a good approach to meat eating, is eat the best quality you can. And did you say you're from Brazil? Some of the best beef comes from Brazil, right?
No, I'm not Brazilian. I'm Dutch, but I lived in Brazil for a year.
I do beg your pardon.
No. Even Brazilians mistake me from there. So,
yeah. How cold does winter get there? Well, if you're talking about Monsanto, you're talking about 0 or just below. I would have thought up there in the Serra da Estrela Mountains, Lexi 444. Central Portugal can get a bit nippy. Which part of Portugal are you in, Jacqueline?
I'm not in Portugal at the moment. My colleagues are in the Algarve. I'm currently in the Netherlands, and I was always based in Valencia, Spain. So I was thinking of moving to Portugal, and it's becoming another topic again for myself, private. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to probe.
No. I just I like to relocate. That's the message.
I have to say to you, it's a very good choice. And we can help. Expats Portugal can help. What is the current policy for Portugal at the moment regarding the pandemic? Do we need the plot shot to land? Well, I think we get a sense of your politics there, Lexi 444, and your approach to life in general. You don't need to be vaccinated to come to Portugal, but you do need tests. And I think in some situations it does help to have a vaccination certificate. And Antonio, answering your other question, at night, 0 under at night in the worst winter nights, and snow in some of the mountains. We do have a ski slope. And some people did want Mrs. M to join. Stop it, you lot. You're encouraging her to take over my show again. Here is a Portuguese weather website. We thank you very much for that. Otempo.pt. May come back to that rebel mama. Luckily for you all, I shan't be making an appearance in my dressing gown. So there we go. Capricorn 12, today's Brit Funk Platinum track is London Town by Light of the World. I do know that wonderful track, Carl. You know this is a great track, just like Good Morning Portugal. Good on you. Quinta das Flores Silvestres, the wild-flowered Quinta. You can make it without the dressing gown. Cheeky. No one ever says that to me, funny enough. Are there age? Oh, back to the matter in hand. Helen T. Bon dia. Sorry, Jacqueline, we did digress a moment there. Are there age restrictions on the length of mortgage terms in Portugal? So what's the normal term here?
So you can have basically up to the age of 75. We mentioned that before. So it depends on how old you are, how long it can be. But we have mortgages even up to, I think the longest I had was 38 or 39. But it tends to be that most of our applicants are not 20 when they turn to us. But
yes,
you can have it up to 40 years. I think 40 years is the absolute maximum for a mortgage.
That is a long time to be paying somebody money, isn't it? Also, this is somebody in their mid-20s. This was Charmander Bestie who asks, if you're on a D7 visa and make 15K in US dollars a month, what would your mortgage options be? Pretty favorable, I would have thought, right? I mean,
depending on how much you want to borrow, that's one. And second, depending on how many mortgages you already have. So I would, again, this is we would have to chat and see how your whole profile looks like. Looks like a good income would cover a mortgage, but then of course depends, are you buying what kind of property are you buying? How much mortgage are you looking for?
It does look like quite a nice monthly income there. And we all want to know what you do now. Is it something to do with Pokemon, I wonder? Maybe you're a Pokemon gamer online, one of those incredible influencers and game players that earns a hell of a lot of money that my son watches. You can't extend mortgages beyond 75 years for the oldest applicant. That's us screwed then, Carl. Ha, ha, ha. Well, I don't find that very funny. But go on. Yes, sorry, go on.
Well, I just mentioned I've recently had 2 applicants where one of them was approaching 75, and I could get the mortgage to go beyond that applicant's 75th birthday because the partner was younger.
Yeah, thank you, Jacqueline. So there you go, Mrs. M. To you, if you can get a loan from your US credit union, is it better to get a loan from them or from a Portuguese bank? So there's a comparison to be made there. I don't know. What do you
Depends
recommend?
on what the US credit union is offering.
Yeah, of course.
And then I can talk to you and we can see what we can offer, and then you can make an informed decision. That's what.
Perfect. Great answer. Bon dia, Carl. Away for a short break in Donegal, says Deagle McKillen. Good morning to you. Are you better renting long term or to buy? Do you need citizenship to buy? You don't have to be a citizen to buy here in Portugal, do you, Jacqueline?
No. Many of our clients are not citizens. The NIF number is the key thing. Yeah, you need that, but not citizen. We have many applicants who are not citizens at all. They live anywhere else in the world.
Yep. So unsurprisingly, Portugal, very happy for you to register as a taxpayer and to buy a house here. Just remember, says João F., Portugal is in Europe. There are 4 seasons in this country, but we don't like to talk about it, João, do we? Thus, no surprise if December and January may reach below 0 night temperatures, even in the Lisbon area. I think there's a collective and national denial about this subject, though. Here's the link. If you do want to get in touch with Jacqueline, ask for her by name. And why not say we sent you to mortgagedirectsl.com.
Please mention Carl.
I don't know if it's going to help or not, but have you read the tick terms and conditions? That's normally how long it takes, doesn't it, for people to tick that box and move on? Can we have Jacqueline's email, please? Mike and I will send an email today. How about that, Mike and Maggie? So if I go to your website, I can probably find that on there, can't I, under team, or would you like to shout it out now for us?
Well, it's jm@mortgagedirectsl.com. I don't know if anyone is going to remember that. So it's my initials, JM. But you can find me on the website for sure, but maybe you get lost in the website. You do have the info email inbox. So if you just mentioned we were on the chat this morning, whoever would want to reach out to us, then me and our team, we can locate you and we know that's where you're coming from.
I think I've got this right now. Tell me if this is as it should be on the screen.
Yeah, perfect, Carl. That's it.
Excellent. All right. That didn't take long. That wasn't too difficult. Okay. Please ask my question. Charmander, I did ask your question. Yeah, I think you got to calm down a bit, quite frankly, if you're thinking of moving to Portugal.
Dear Charmander, I tried to speak to you, but we have to get more into the details for sure.
Okay, what is a typical mortgage payment / income ratio? Asks Thunder, having another bite at this cherry.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, it's about how much the bank allows you to what they find acceptable. So it's about 35%. So for each 1,000 euros that you earn, you can spend 350.
Yeah, there you go. What are the monthly repayments, say, on a property valued at 100,000 as a guide?
Depending on the term, really.
Okay, roughly speaking, can you give us a little bit of an indication?
Interest rates are quite low, so around 1.5%. So you're looking at, if it's 10 years, in around the 1,000 mark, 20 years through half. But really, I really would have to always look at each applicant's profile, because I can't guarantee them I can put you with any bank, and then I have to do all the calculations. But we do that for you and make sure that you get a good offer. You even get an offer before we go to the bank. So then you would really know that.
Okay, excellent. All right, so have a chat, Fiona. I did ask. I think we've established that now. Charmander's bestie. I see that some people get up in the morning on top of their energy levels. Relax, people. Yeah, we are. We do have an easy go. You know what it is? It's talking about money, isn't it? It can tend to get people going. But look, we're having a nice chat here, me and Jacqueline, and we've not really met or spoken before, have we? Except by email. And it's a great pleasure to have you here, and thank you for answering all these questions.
Well, it's lovely being with you, Carl. Next week we can do it again.
All right. Can I get an equity loan from my fully paid up apartment here? Equity release was the word I was looking for.
We kind of covered it with a previous one. It depends what the purpose is, but not just for buying a new car, for example.
Yeah. Okay. Look at this. I'm not even going to read that out, but Quinta das Flores Silvestres. That's funny. Does the concept of equity release exist in Portugal? I think we've dealt with that now. Sarah, it does, but not the easiest thing at the moment by the sound of it. What's the best base rate? Sorry, what is the base rate in Portugal? And do banks only do they do only interest or interest only mortgage?
Well, I just touched on briefly. To your last question, only interest, no, they don't exist. And it's around 1.5, but really it can also be much lower, depending really on the amount of loan you're looking for, your profile, etc., etc. But around 1.5 and below that, we can do even 1.1, I think. But then we're looking at really interesting deals. And it depends if it's fixed or variable too.
Yeah, okay. And when was the last time interest-only mortgages were in the environment? It's like an 80s thing, really, isn't it?
In my country, I know it still exists in the Netherlands, but it's getting more and harder to come by. In Portugal, I've never seen them in the 6 years that we're doing Portugal now.
Yeah. Okay. Quinta, I'm going to call you Quinta DFS from now on, just to save a bit of time. Charmander's monthly income is higher than the average Portuguese earns in a year. Sadly, so. And to solve that mystery of where all that money is coming from, no, I'm just a regular software engineer. I have no other mortgages. I'm working on my D7 visas. Which areas would you recommend that I begin to look at, and which mortgage ranges? I think having a chat with Jacqueline is the way forward with this. I may have missed it. But what's the typical interest rate expats are getting on a good application? And you did say this already, didn't you? Did you as low as 1.1?
Is absolutely one of the best things we can offer. But it also depends. If you have a good energy quality rating, we can even knock it off a little bit. But yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so that comes into it now.
Yeah, we want to save the planet.
Yeah, of course. No, I mean that money talks, and that does make sense. How come you need a mortgage despite such a high income? Oh, I think that's a personal question.
Okay.
Talking to each other on. Mike Shaw, sneaking in this D7 question. Does your passive income need to be shown through your Portuguese bank account, or can you transfer it monthly from your UK account, as my pension company will only pay? I think you don't have to show it in the Portuguese bank account, Mike. No. You need to show that you're getting it. You need the proof of the income, not in a particular receptacle there. I'm gonna have to read some of these before I put them straight on screen. I think the way things are going this morning. I love this. I'm going to read this out. Sorry, I lived in America for too long. Okay, so we've managed to get Charmander's bestie a little bit calmed down, I think, this morning. Good work, everybody. My patience working in America. I need to do better. No faz mal, as we say here in Portugal.
Yeah.
Calma, tranquilo. I love this channel. We love you too. Even though we got off on a slightly eggy start there, Shamander's bestie. You should consider making super chats as priority questions. Just an idea. Yes, lead the way. Anybody who wants to do a super chat. The only difficulty with super chats is I need to. It's not a problem, and I don't mind doing it. But I need to share those with my guests, obviously, if they're answering the questions. So it means that we have to create a drinks fund out of the super chats. Not really a problem, just more of a logistics things. But thank you very much, Oliver, for that. Is there a sweet spot for term versus interest rate where the bank gives you the best deal, would you say, Jacqueline?
We would know those sweet spots, so we would advise you on that, of course. But I would say that the interest rates are pretty good in Portugal in general. But of course, the term affects the interest rate. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So the surveying, those checks that are very important, I would say. Do you offer that service, and what does it cost? Thank you.
We don't directly offer it, and it's something that the banks usually wanted to be ordered through them. And it's somewhere in the mark of 300 euros for most properties. If they're very expensive and very huge, so the surveyor needs to walk quite a bit, maybe a bit more, but usually that's about it. Yeah.
All right, that's fantastic. 300 or thereabouts. Mark Doe, good morning to you, sir. Bon dia, Carl and Jacqueline. A similar question to Charmander's. My monthly income is similar, but in crypto. As Portugal is becoming more crypto friendly, are any banks willing to look at this? What a great question.
Yeah. So again, this is quite specific. Income has to be able to verify by your tax statement. So that's a key factor to. Right. I don't know how that would exactly work with crypto, and if you're declaring it, paying yourself out, that's something that really.
Okay, a question of show me the money, the banks will be saying, won't they? So it's all very well having that. And I think it's funny, isn't it? Because a lot of crypto people are a bit like the vegan conversations we were having. How do you know if someone's a crypto person? They will probably tell you at some point during the conversation. We also oh, you've met them as well. We've become aware of an attorney in Portugal who is crypto friendly, which I think is quite a new step. And we do have a little bit of a crypto group on the side there for anybody who wants to join us. Just drop me a line, carl@expatsportugal.com, as you can see there. jm@mortgagedirectsl.com to get in touch with Jacqueline, and that is in the comments. Jacqueline, it's been so good to make your acquaintance, to have you here on the show this morning. Is there anything else you've missed or would like to add?
No, it was lovely. I'm sorry we didn't do this before, Carl. We should do this. We could do it weekly if questions keep coming up.
There are people here who would like to see that, but I think I would certainly love to have you back here on a monthly basis. Let's talk about mortgages. Let's help people move to Portugal. That's the whole idea of Expats Portugal. So it would be lovely to see you again. And we have another quick question before you go. Is it difficult for a freelancer making money from the US to get a mortgage? Now, more and more people are in this situation, aren't they? With multiple income streams, working in the gig economy, etc. Can you help people with a non-traditional background get a mortgage?
Yes, Michael, bless music, we can, as long as it's in your tax return. That's the main thing. And how long has it been there? Show me the money, as you said.
Fantastic. Okay. And thank you, Oliver and Natalie and Oliver again for commenting about super chats. Some of you do that. So if you could explain to the others how to do it, that would obviously be great for the drinks fund that Jacqueline and I are now working on. There's a little dollar sign. Oh, there we go. There's a little dollar sign on the left below where you write a comment on the laptop. Also, Google does take. Well, of course they do, Oliver. But we don't begrudge them that little bit for making all of this possible. What incredible technology they've given the world, whatever you think about their politics. Thank you, Jacqueline. Really useful information.
My pleasure. Happy to help.
And, Mark Doe, crypto is tax-free, but we'll be happy to show a bank my portfolio. Lol, Carl heard that yesterday about the lawyer. Thank you, Mark Doe. Great to catch up with you, mate. Jacqueline, I better let you go because I think we're going to be talking showing a few more pictures this morning. I'm sure you've got to go and talk to people about mortgages. So we'll do this again soon. And thank you so much.
Lovely to be here. And look forward to seeing you again. Have a lovely day in Portugal.
You too. Love to the Netherlands. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.
There she goes, Jacqueline MOULEN from Mortgage Direct SL. I think she enjoyed being here. Wants to be here every week. Let's go for it. Great show today and dairy-free, I think. No, I had butter before I went to a local cafe this morning. As I said before, I'm very happy to brag about getting up early, best time of the day and all that. Down at the beach, then a verde late and some torrada. Oh, just a quick note: if you are ordering torrada in Portugal, make sure you're ordering torrada and not dourada, because you may get fish instead of toast of a morning. And I know it's not exactly toast, it's very special in Portugal. It's dripping in butter. So I'm not dairy free this morning. Francis, thanks so much, Jacqueline. And I'll pass that on. Hello, Carl and Jacqueline. Can bank finance be based on a bank deposit? Delta Dart, just a little bit too late. Come back again when we have Jacqueline again, or just get in touch with her direct and say we sent you. Let's have a look then. Some more pictures before we go. 10:15, you rascals, keeping me here again. What have we got in our picture deck that's already been loaded up? I think we've got, well, I'm going to let you look at this and figure this out while I load up a few more pickies. This is, does anyone else suffer with this on the toll roads, or is it just me? Lovely photos coming in. Thank you very much, Paul Richards, for how does he do it? That's me at the bottom of my garden recently. Francis, you sent in this picture of your Mini, which is absolutely beautiful and nicely set and staged against that grey building there. My mate Martin had a Mini like that, and 5 of us would get in it and drive around the West End of London. You feel very close to the floor. It's an intimate driving experience, isn't it? A Mini like that, with just a thin sheet of metal, sometimes completely rusted out beneath your feet, seeing the ground going past. And there, look, a sunrise. That's a great sunrise. A couple of beautiful silhouettes there from South Africa this morning. Thank you very much from Cape Town. Thank you very much, Francis, for that. Let me just see, has anybody else sent anything in that I've neglected? I think you probably have. And oh, the weather. Let me just see if I can. What was that one that you sent in, Rebel Mama? I wonder. I think we're up to date on all the pictures. A note to self to find where all my weather stuff was, and we will start doing that again, Gary, because it is the time of year. Andy, never failing me. Andy, a fellow Torrada fan, I think. A proper, here we go. This is perfect. This is the perfect way to end the show. I'm going to save that. And Randy, thank you very much for yours. I will save that for tomorrow, but thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. That's hilarious. We will just finish with the Torrada picture this morning. And let me just bring that onto the screen for you. This is what I'm talking about. It's not just toast. That's what you get. That's why I call it the Jenga. Jenga for breakfast. Look at that. But you won't have time to Jenga that. You'll be eating it. You'll be sucking the bread out of sucking the butter out of the bread there, and saving the middle finger for the person you most love, which might be yourself in that moment or your dining companion. A couple more comments. Let's have a look. Thank you so much for such a great show, Carl, and the rest of you. Absolutely right. Team effort here for sure. Antonio, yes, don't mix torrada with dorada or torrada. The bullfight. There's another. He's taking it to another level. Thank you, Antonio. Jim White, good day. Thank you. Thank you to you, Delta Dart. Thanks, Carl. My pleasure. Sorry we couldn't help you in the time frame that was suitable for you, Delta, but come back and let's chat again. Thank you from Oliver. Great to see you here this morning, Oliver. And my partner and I had a mud brown Mini back in the day. Close to the floor, you say? The passenger side footwell was missing. Thankfully, the rubber car mat was intact. Nothing, a little bit of gaffer tape and some, what's that paint? That sort of like liquid metal paint, hammerite. Just put a few bits of gaffer tape over the hole in the floor, cover it with hammerite, good as gold. That should get it through the MOT back in the day. Thanks, Carl Munster, and from Gary Augurs. You've been amazing this morning. And wasn't Jacqueline great too? We will get her back, and look forward to your company tomorrow on Ask Anything About Portugal Hump Day here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Take care. Bye for now. Have a fantastic day. See you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.